Welcome back to Ultimate One Wrestling News, episode 6. And this is another episode where I'm going to bring you all the stuff that's going on in the wrestling world, including the Best in the World, the Southern Showdown by New Japan, and Fyterfest. As you well know, that those shows all fell within the weekend, last weekend, so I'm going to go through them. And also we're going to talk about what happened with Bullet Club. One of their members left Bullet Club. We're also going to talk about WWE being interested in LAX and the new deal that was signed by a tag team in the WWE that now has me thinking, okay, is this going to be something that, you know, a bigger storyline coming out of this tag team right now that with that may right now has not signed with a contract, but they have made some type of deal with WWE. But anyway, let's get to it. First of all, Best in the World happened Friday, and the main event was Jeff Cobb versus Matt Taven. But before we get to that, let's talk about the main thing that happened. And Best in the World, as you all know, Villain Enterprises and Marty Scurll was looking for a fourth member. They were in a six-man tag, defending the six-man Ring of Honor titles against Marty, I think it was Mark Haskin, Tracy Williams, and Bandito, I think. I'm not sure it was Bandito. I know there was another member in there. But, and everything, the match was going great, whatever, and at the end, the Villain Enterprises won the match, but then Bully Ray and somebody else came, some two guys I never seen before, came in and jumped into the ring, attacked Lifeblood, and then all of a sudden we see Flip Gordon coming in to save him. Now, as you well know, the last couple of weeks, Lifeblood been trying to get Flip Gordon to join them. He never gave him a yes or a no, but it looked like he was going to join them after stopping these. Bully Ray, I think, was involved, also attacking Lifeblood. Lifeblood gave Flip Gordon a shirt for them to join, and as soon as that happened, the light goes out, and all of a sudden you see Marty Scurll talking about he has a fourth member. And as he's explaining who the fourth member is, the camera goes to the right side, and Flip Gordon is there with a mean mug with a Villain Enterprise shirt. The light goes back on. Next thing you know, Flip Gordon super kicks Bandito, and now we have a fourth member. But then after that, Flip Gordon decided to put Tracy Williams in a table and then do a 450 from the top rope into the floor and separating his shoulder. But according to reports, he was able to pop it back into place, but he got hurt in the process. Also in that card, we saw there was supposed to be Cole Cabana and Nick Aldis against the Briscoe brothers. Unfortunately, Cole Cabana was hurt, and out of nowhere, the surprise tag team for Nick Aldis was Eli Drake. As you well know, Eli Drake left TNA after having issues in April about not wanting to wrestle Tessa Blanchard in an intergender match. So he was a free agent somewhere in June, and now he ended up signing with NWA. So now he's part of the NWA roster. So it was Nick Aldis and Eli Drake against the Briscoe brothers, and during the match, Eli Drake decided to brawl with one of the Briscoes in the crowd. Jay Storr was doing commentary with Evil Cavani and Cole Cabana. All of a sudden, Eli Drake grabs a drink from the crowd, drinks it, spits at James Storms. They end up brawling all the way to the back, leaving Nick Aldis by himself with the Briscoe brothers. The Briscoe brothers pretty much gave him a beating, so I let them lay it out. Another match in there was this Kenny King versus Jay Lethal and the best of 3 match. That pretty much I didn't follow that during the week, so I know when they came in to wrestle that night, it was tied 1-1 apiece. Eventually, Kenny King ended up pinning Jay Lethal with his own move, the lethal injection, which it was surprising to me, and that shows me that maybe Jay Lethal may not be around anymore. Maybe his contract is up and he may be leaving. Who knows? He might go to WWE. Never know. But that kind of freaked me out. If they lose Lethal, they're done. They're gonna be done. Also, the other match that I was very left me my jaw on the floor, because I figured this match was gonna be longer and it was gonna be more competitive. But it was the main event: Matt Taven versus Jeff Cobb. Matt Taven, of course, is the Ring of Honor World Champion. That match only lasted 10 minutes. Now, my thing is, why in the world did that last 10 minutes? It's crazy. Like, why? Then to top it off, you had Matt Taven beat Jeff Cobb in 10 minutes when this man was undefeated for over half a year. He was the Ring of Honor TV champion, and he gets pinned in 10 minutes. You know? And mind you, when he lost the Ring of Honor TV title, he never got pinned. Shane Taylor won the belt, but he pinned somebody else. So to me, when I saw that, I said, okay, they're making him a strong babyface. But that wasn't the case. That was that me thinking, had me scratching like I'm doing right now. So that was crazy. So now we go to the Showdown. So the Showdown, that show was from New Japan Pro Wrestling, coming from Australia. There was a couple of matches there that were pretty good, especially the Rocky Romero versus El Phantasmo for the Red Pro Cruiserweight title. That match was real good. Oh my God, it was awesome. It left me thinking why Rocky Romero has not been pushed hard enough in the junior division in Japan. I mean, he's been several time IWGP Junior Tag Team Champion with 8 different partners, but he beat El Phantasmo to earn a shot at the Red Pro Cruiserweight Champion at the Best of the Super Juniors. He pinned him cleanly. So when I saw that, I figured like, oh wow, you know. And then he gave a good showing on his match in the Super Showdown. I mean, Southern Showdown. And even though he lost, but he gave a good showing, and makes me think what's going on. Also in that card, we had the Guerrilla of Destiny versus Juice Robinson and Mikey Nichols. That match was pretty good, and it probably lasted 15, 16, 17 minutes. The Guerrilla of Destiny retained the belts. So I mean, I gave it, that match was like probably a 6 maybe, but the match that really caught my eye, that I really was looking forward to, was the Will Ospreay versus Robbie Eagle for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship, IWGP Junior title. Let me get my thing straight. Junior title. And that match was awesome, even though El Phantasmo came out to accompany Robbie Eagle. These guys were going back and forth. At one point, El Phantasmo interfered in the match. Robbie Eagle stopped El Phantasmo from using the chair on Will Ospreay. At the end, Will Ospreay pinned Robbie Eagle, but it was a great match. It was a 34-minute match, which was high impact, high flying, a lot of crazy bumps. And at one point after the match, Will Ospreay wanted to shake Robbie Eagle's hand, and El Phantasmo tried to stop him. Whatever. At the end, Robbie Eagle ended up turning and punching El Phantasmo and knock him out the ring. And now everybody was like, wow, you know, he's part of Bullet Club. El Phantasmo Bullet Club, Robbie Eagle's Bullet Club. Okay, so everything was good. Now we followed the following night, which was the second show for Southern Showdown Australia. There was a 6-man tag, which Will Ospreay, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and Kazuchika Okada against Jay White, Bad Luck Fale, and Robbie Eagle. The fan favorites won, which was Okada, Tanahashi, and Will Ospreay beat Fale, White, and Robbie Eagle. But what happened after the match? Apparently, Jay White started attacking Tanahashi, and he had a chair. He told Robbie Eagle, hey, I want you to hit Tanahashi with a chair. Robbie Eagle grabbed the chair, but then instead of hitting Tanahashi with the chair, he turns around and super kicks Jay White. So now we have now we all like, what happened? Why? This again, the second night in a row. So now it turns out that Robbie Eagle is no longer part of Bullet Club. He's part of Chaos now. He joined Chaos as part of the group now. So that's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. And as you know, G1 Climax starts tonight in Texas. So overall, from here, from starting from today, all the way down to August to the end of the G1 Climax, would the Bullet Club get their hands on Rob Eagle and beat him up and show him what you don't betray the Bullet Club? But that's going to be interesting. It's going to be something to look forward to. Also, now there was another show that was happening that same day, and it was AEW Fyterfest. Fyterfest, the pre-show sucked. Let's be real, honestly. The three-way tag team between Private Party, SCU, and the Best Friend was very good, which I felt that they should have put that in the main show and put the Christopher Daniels SEMA on the pre-show, But because SEMA's fighting Kenny Omega at Fight for the Fallen, they didn't want to do that. But the librarian thing, that's garbage. It's just annoying. The shooting sound is garbage. It was horrible. One other thing I saw there, the CEO of Wrestling, Michael Nakasawa, garbage. I mean, to me, I don't think they should have never put that in the show. But overall, after that, the show was pretty good. The six-man tag between the Elite against Lucha Bros, and I forgot the other guy's name from Mexico. The six-man tag was pretty good. The crazy thing that I saw in that show was when the chest shot that Cody Rhodes took from Spears, which cracked his head open. It was crazy. I mean, it was like nuts. I'm like, wow, it's crazy. It's like, he took a shot and busted his head wide open, blood gushing all over the place and whatnot. So that was pretty good. Nyla Rose show also her wrestling skills a little bit. She wrestled two Japanese girls. I don't remember their name, but Nyla Rose showed her true wrestling skills that night, even though she lost the match. But she showed what she should have showed at Double or Nothing, and that was her wrestling skill as a big girl. Overall, like I said, the show was a 7.5. The craziest match of the night was the Jon Moxley versus Joey Janela, and that was crazy because he gave him an atomic knee drop on Joey Janela. He had taken his shoes off in the match, and then threw thumbtacks all over the floor and had Joey Janela land on the thumbtacks without no shoes. And he had blood gushing out his feet. It was ridiculous. It was nuts. I was like, wow, these guys beat themselves. They hit each other with tables, a chair with bar wires, wood with bar wires, tables, you name it. They hit each other with everything. At the end, Moxley ended up winning the match, and then Kenny Omega decided to attack Jon Moxley, setting up the all-out match in August. Because as you all know, Moxley will not be in Fight for the Fallen because he'll be in Japan in the G1 Climax, so he won't be part of the Fight for the Fallen, which is pretty good because of what happened in Double or Nothing. Moxley attacked Kenny Omega. Now it was the other way around. Omega attacked Moxley. So now they set up for All Out, which is a pretty good thing for us to be looking forward to. Also, news from WWE. LAX is one of the tag teams that WWE is interested in getting in their roster. I say no, do not come to WWE because WWE does not care for the tag team division. I mean, look what they've done to all these tag teams, and including the Good Brothers. I mean, as it turned out, as far as talking about the Good Brothers, they was word that they had signed a new deal, but that's not true. They have agreed to a deal with WWE, but they have not signed the contract. And this is why you saw AJ Styles turning heel this past Monday against Ricochet, and they formed the club back. And that's the reason why they pretty much got together. So who knows? Maybe they told them, look, let's see what you're going to show us from here to September, because September is when the contract is up. With this Bullet Club, or let's say the club, WWE version of the club, reuniting again. Let's see how this goes, and maybe we'll think about signing. And if they do sign a 5-year deal, 3-year deal, whatever it is, let's hope that they use the club and do the damage that they're known to bring into any promotion. I mean, we got Paul Heyman supposed to be running the show now. Let's see what happens. Also, we're gonna talk about the Good Brothers already. Maria Kanellis is in trouble because she did not let WWE know that she was pregnant. So she signed a 5-year deal with her husband, and now it's like she screwed them over, because now she's going to be gone because she's pregnant. She can't compete in the ring because she's pregnant. So that is crazy. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean, WWE's a mess. And as far as WWE is concerned, for me, my opinion, to me, they're going to continue to be garbage, because they still letting the old man still put his hand in there. I also saw a tweet from Seth Rollins, who he apologized to Will Ospreay, but yet still talking about that he's the best in the world. Well, Mr. Rollins, I got news for you. Okay, there's a guy in Japan who makes it rain, known as the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. This guy is the best in the world. You just saying you're best in the world because, let's face it, fighting Baron Corbin like every other month does not make you the best in the world. Let's face it. And as far as WWE is concerned, hey, you can't stop the fans actually saying the truth, because at the end, you cannot ask Twitter to keep stopping fans from expressing themselves and tweeting how they feel about the product, and having Twitter close down, or not close down, but suspend people's accounts because they're expressing how they feel about your wrestlers and your roster and your product. So WWE, you need to get it together. That's number one. So that's pretty much it. But before I go, I just want to say some sad news that came in yesterday. Mexico's legend and Hall of Famer, I could say, Pedro Aguayo Sr. passed away yesterday at the age of 73. Pedro Aguayo Sr. wrestled back in the 70s and early 80s, and retired in 2007. He was a WWA lightweight champion, and this was when Vince McMahon Sr. was working with New Japan before his son bought the company. That belt got defended in New Japan for quite some time, even after WWE bowed out from working relations with them. That belt got defunct in 1997, but Pedro Aguayo Jr., I was able to see him back in 1994 when WCW and AAA made a show called When Worlds Collide, and I saw Pedro Aguayo wrestle Conan in a steel cage match, and it was an awesome match. It was a match that, if you go to YouTube, maybe you can find it. It was a lot of bloodshed and everything. And as you all know, back in 2015, Mr. Aguayo, his son, had died in the ring after having a wrestling match with Rey Mysterio, and he got caught with a 619, and Mr. Aguayo was not responding while still dangling in the ropes. Conan tried to wake him up, but apparently he died of a heart attack in the ring. So that was in 2015. First the son, now the father, and we want to wish, blessings to the family and for those who are right now suffering for his loss. Once again, I thank you for coming in to my world, to Ultimate One Wrestling News. Please subscribe, tell a friend, hit that notification bell to get new content every time I load up a video. Hit the like button, leave your comments, and I will see you guys very soon. Good night.